The Mavericks beat the Bulls, but I want to talk about Klay Thompson and why he deserves a lot of praise right now on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm gonna get a city like that.
Dogs, all of us, all five.
You are Locked On Mavs, your daily Dallas Mavericks podcast.
No one's dying.
Part of the Locked On Podcast Network.
Still can't leave me alone.
Your team every day.
Gotta be born with a dog gut.
You are Locked On the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Isaac, one of your co-hosts covering the Mavs for the last 10 years, alongside Nick Angstead. And I'm here to talk about this Mavs win over the Bulls. Barely 1 point over the Bulls. But thanks for making Locked On Mavs your first listen of the day. Go make Locked On NBA Big Board your second listen of the day. It's a must listen to right now. It's draft season, draft prospect season, watching March Madness, all this stuff. And if you're a true Mavs fan, you already signed up for a Locked On Mavs newsletter that's sent out once a day, Monday through Friday. It's free with all the latest Mavs news in the episode. And you're subscribed to our Locked On Mavs Insider program. It's a text program to where we do a lot of stuff on there with latest news, Q&As, and stuff. Let's talk about this Mavs win over the Bulls and Klay Thompson and some Anthony Davis. And at the end, I want to talk about Coby White because I think the Mavs should go after him hard this summer. The Mavs beat the Bulls by 1 point, 120 to 119. I want to talk a little bit more about that game in a little bit after the first break there. But I want to talk about Klay Thompson right now because I think in the midst of all the chaos of this Mavericks season, if there's ever a season in which the Mavericks have dominated the headlines, it's this season. But I think even I don't think it's just like a national thing. I think it's a local thing. I think it's some of us that cover the team. I think it's maybe fans. I do think it nationally at the same time. When they go out and they get Klay Thompson, obviously Klay is one of the best shooters of all time. I mean, literally top 3, maybe top 5 shooter of all time when you're looking at alongside his old teammate, Steph Curry. But they go out and they get him this past offseason. He's a future Hall of Famer. And, we did so many pods about adding Klay to this team. And it's like, how often have the Mavericks went out and added a Hall of Famer to their team that's still going to be in the rotation, that's still going to be like starting for them a lot of the year. And so they add Klay, and had a bunch of different opinions on. It's like, man, Klay's not what he used to be. Well, Klay, did you see that season for the Warriors? Can he play defense? Can he fit alongside it? And it's like, all right, they added Klay for a contract making around $15-16 million, basically making Daniel Gafford money. And I tried at the very beginning. It was like, hey, let's chill out on the Klay expectations part, because you're not paying Klay to be a $40 million Klay Thompson pre-injuries. You're paying Klay to be a $15-16 million post-injury Klay Thompson. You're paying him to come in to play alongside a Luka and a Kyrie and to hit a ton of three-pointers. You're asking him to be a consistent presence, a locker room presence, a leader on the team. You're asking him to be healthy. And you're asking for him to be clutch and all the stuff that this is what you're asking Klay Thompson to be when you add him this past offseason. And I think he's been so much of that in the midst of all the chaos, I think we've lost sight of just the appreciation that I think Klay deserves. And I'm not saying we as all of us as a fan base or all of us as media or all this stuff. I think even nationally too, that I think a lot of people just kind of wrote Klay off after the injuries, and then he came back and it's like, all right, he's not the same defender as he once was, and all this. And it's like, guys, typically when people get in their mid-30s, they're not the same defender that they used to be. There's going to be some drop in their game too. But let's look at the season from Klay, because Klay hit 20 points tonight. He was the only player that hit 20 points. The Mavericks had 7 players in double figures tonight, which is insane. But he kind of saves the game in that third quarter. He goes on this huge run. And he has these 3 threes. He's killing it. He hit some clutch free throws at the end. And it was just, I was like, man, look at Klay out there. Like, Hall of Famer, after all the injuries, this isn't what he signed up for, right? He signed up to come play alongside Luka Doncic. He signed up to play alongside Kyrie Irving. Kyrie was a part of his recruitment. In Media Day, we interviewed him on Media Day. You could watch it on YouTube or listen back to it. And he's like, man, these guys were so close to winning the title last year. They went to the finals and to play alongside Luka. We asked him about playing alongside Luka. We asked him about the recruitment from Kyrie in the front office and all this stuff. And now look where it's at in the season. The Mavericks are fighting for a play-in spot. Kyrie's out for the year with the ACL, and Luka obviously got traded. Talking about not being what you signed up for as a veteran Hall of Famer who at this point in your career, you're wanting to just go after rings. That's all that you matter. Well, that's all that matters to you. And a guy who left where he's been his entire career in Golden State and the Bay and to come to Dallas. And not only all of that, it's not what he expected, but he's produced. Like, you look, he crossed over the 203 mark tonight. Him and Tyrese Halliburton, by the way, crossed over that mark tonight. He's one of 16 players this year to hit at least 200 3-pointers. You look at, he's shooting 40% from three on the season. I mean, this is exactly what you asked for him, right? When you signed him this past offseason and he comes over, you're like, hey, can you hit 40% of your threes and be this knockdown shooter, consistent shooter alongside Luka and Kyrie? And he's done that. He's been that. He's a 90% free throw shooter on the team. Tonight, his free throws sealed the deal against Chicago. Like, to have a guy like that, Kyrie is one of those guys too, to have a couple of these guys, but to have Klay too, that can hit, that can go into these big moments and hit a free throw and be confident that they're going to hit these free throws. How many times have we watched Mavericks over the year that can't hit free throws? I've seen too many of them. Klay Thompson does that. He's second on the team. I mean, this is kind of sad. He's second on the team in games played this year. All right. Dinwiddie's number one on that list. You know who's tied for fourth on that list? Omax. Scary. That Omax is your, and Omax out for the season right now. That's somebody who's not really in your rotation. And on top of that, even prior to this, like, you look at all the major catastrophic injuries that he had of the Achilles, the ACLs, like all the stuff, post injuries, full seasons that he's played. He played in 69 games. Nice. Played in 77 games last year. And this year, he just played in a 66 game. And so he's looking like he's going to, play the rest of the games here. He's going to go over the 70 mark again. So you're telling me, you're basically getting at least 70 games or more from Klay Thompson post injuries, in which he's shooting 40% from three, shooting 90% from the free throw line, and hitting at least 200 threes on the season. Sign me up all day for that, all day. And I just think in the midst of the chaos, the presence that Klay has brought to this team, all the quotes post Luka of like what he's talked about with this team and staying together, and just the competitiveness of him, an all-time great. I think I am so thankful that he is in Dallas, and I love Klay on this team. I loved it when they signed him. I love it even more right now. And I hope that he's on this team going into next season, because he deserves to play in Dallas alongside some other stars and stuff with AD and Kyrie. So just want to give Kyrie his love. He had a good game tonight against Chicago. And he's fighting like heck with the rest of these guys. Like, that's one thing you just can't count out with these Mavericks right now, is in a game like this. Chicago's been on fire lately. But in every game right now in which you have people like me that are saying, hey, these guys, I think they should just lose out and miss the play-in. I think the best thing for the Mavs is everything to shut down right now for the next couple of months. But don't tell these guys that. Like, these guys are going to fight like heck, right? They don't care what people like me and people who feel the same way as me think out there. No, they're going to go out there and fight, and that's what Klay's been doing. And I'm thankful he's a Mav, and I hope he stays a Mav for a while now. All right, let's talk about the game, what happened in the game, and some fun moments with that, and why Josh Giddey just didn't have a great game. I was going to make a Giddey joke, but I probably can't right now. This podcast is brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Man, it felt like the Bulls drank a bunch of these before the game tonight. Daylight savings snuck up on us again. If you're feeling like you lost an hour of sleep, 5 Hour Energy has your back. The extra sunshine means more time for fun. Yeah, time for activities. But sometimes you need a little boost to power through. Whether you're staying up late to watch the NCAA tournament, just watch Duke and Alabama, squeezing in a round of golf after work, okay. And just trying to keep up with your busy day, 5 Hour Energy gives you a quick refresh and pick me up whenever you need. Basketball, that's all I'm watching right now. And yeah, I've been staying up the past few nights. It's like my wife's like, "Hey, you watching Mav?" No, I'm gonna watch college basketball. And it's like, oh, double whammy. But you know what could help me? 5 Hour Energy. Head to 5 Hour Energy to find over 15 flavors to choose from, including watermelon, blue raspberry, peach mango. You can even build your own 12-pack or 24-pack delivered right to your door. Need one now? Grab a 5 Hour Energy shot at your local grocery, convenience store. They're everywhere. Stock up today and stay energized. This podcast is also brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. Guys, our longtime friends at FanDuel. March Madness is here. We're all in the midst of this right now. FanDuel's giving you a chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's 200 extra bucks to use on everything from buzzer beaters to Cinderella stories and even who's cutting down the nets. My backyard's not looking very good right now. I did pick some underdogs, but if you went with the 1 seeds, 2 seeds, it's looking pretty good for you right now. I should have just kept it simple and did that. But FanDuel app is simple, easy to use. When I win, I get paid instantly, no waiting around. Visit FanDuel.com. Get in on the college hoops action all tournament long.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
All right, we're back. Insert transition music. This is where we're at right now. Guys, I want to talk to you about, or I want to mention something real quick to you. We are running a survey in which we want feedback from you guys. This is something we created. It's not like a company thing or an ad thing. We just want to learn more about how you're feeling. We're 8 years into this thing now of doing this show, and we're always looking for ways to grow the show and get better and all the stuff. So if you look at the description in the podcast, you will see a link, a Google form that we'd love for you to fill out. It's just it takes you just a few minutes, and you can share a bunch of different things that'll help us make some cool decisions moving forward on some cool things that we're debating on right now. So please, if you haven't done that, hundreds of you guys have already done it. We want to get as many of our listeners as possible that can fill that out. So go to the description of the podcast, fill out that survey for us, and it would help us a lot. Appreciate it. Let's talk about this Bulls Mavs game. I mean, honestly, I made a joke in the in the ad break there for our 5 Hour Energy friends. It felt like the Bulls just like drank a bunch of those before the game and just shot out of a cannon for this game. This Bulls team has become a league pass favorite of mine over the past few weeks. They're a lot of fun. I like a lot of these players on the team. I like Buzelis going into the draft. So many people had questions about his jump shot, and I get it, but his athleticism, I love his tenacity. I just like his game a lot. And dude, he's having an incredible season right now. He's looking really good, played really well tonight for Chicago, but they come out and Kai Jones does something at the tip off that I've never seen before. And it just fits Kai Jones so much because he's so athletic. He has a little bit of unleash him factor in there of just like, hey, just unleash him on the floor. You're going to have some crazy athletic moments, but you're going to have some moments too. You're like, what did he just do? He goes up for the tip off. Like you get it when, the two bigs at half court have their like inner hands, like they're going up for the tip. And it's like, most of them are, the right-handed. So he starts to jump up with his right, but like kind of hooks it around Vooch a little bit and then reaches back over with his left and tips it. I'm like, he won the tip, but I'm like, it works, but I've never seen that before. So shout out to Kai Jones for that. I am convinced that PJ hates Josh Giddey. Okay. And I'm convinced that PJ just sees Josh Giddey in an OKC uniform and feels like he's in OKC because first play of the game for Dallas, I mean, he just bully balls shoulder into Giddey's chest. I'm going to score right over you. Does the too small. And just throughout the game, it's like anytime Giddey was close to him, he's like, I'm going to go at you right now. And I loved it. It was great. It felt early on like I put this in our subtext. I texted out at halftime. It felt early on that it was like in my hometown we had like a big church in our main street. All right. And or in the middle of our town, and they would open up the church gym for like lunch ball. So anybody that would come in off lunch break, typically it was like the business people and stuff. Well, every once in a while, it was a crowd of like 40, 50-year-old men, sometimes 60-year-old men playing half court and all the stuff, sometimes full court. But every once in a while, you'd hit a spring break, right? And you'd get the schools out. And then you'd get like a high school squad in there that's like, hey, let me get some of my buds. Let's roll. Let's get some run in against some of the local bankers. And it was always interesting because it's like all these dudes have all this energy, and these banker dudes are just like, you're kind of like ruining our vibe right now. That's what it felt like a little early on. Chicago just seemed so chaotic, so young, and so like, I'm just going to go out here and just be chaos. And the Mavericks are like, all right, what's going on right now? But they stayed in it. And that's the team. This was a game of runs through this whole thing because every time the Mavs would go on the run, the Bulls would go on a run and vice versa. I mean, heck, the second quarter the first half ended on a 20-5 run by Dallas. And it was awesome. You open a third quarter, the Mavs go on another 14-4 run. You're like, all right, Mavs got this. Like Chicago kind of ran out of steam on this recent win streak stuff. But then Chicago came back once again. Yeah, I thought Klay had some awesome moments. I mentioned that in the first segment. He hit those 3 threes there in the second quarter. They go on that big run. He was a huge reason for that run there in the second. Anthony Davis, he had some moments in the third quarter. He was aggressive. I don't know if I can like personally take another Anthony Davis falling down moment right now. I'm just scared to death. He had one tonight where he was like sideways, like almost like half airborne, and then his leg clipped somebody, and he like went. It was a tough fall, and I just got so scared, man. Then he had another one where somebody kind of clipped his waist, and then he fell down. I'm like, I can't take any of this right now. So he obviously doesn't look right. He looks kind of rusty. He looks like he's not fully healthy. I commend and respect the fight so much in him of wanting to be out there. It just at times it's like, man, this just doesn't look like AD, and it's going to take time, right? Like I'm not blaming him for how he looks right now because he's not 100% and he is rusty. Hasn't been playing in a while, so it's not that I'm blaming him. It's just like kind of tough to watch out there and like we're fighting for a play in. And I've been very open that I think they should have shut him down and for these final few weeks and not go for the play in, but they are doing that. Brandon Williams had some good moments in the game. Once again, I love him, man. I love everything about him. Kai Jones had big moments. And I say, this is going to come down to like their days are going to run out as a two-way games. Sorry. Their games are going to run out as two-way guys. And the Mavericks are going to have to make a decision. It's like Kessler Edwards already ran out. One of them is probably going to get that last roster spot there on April 10th. And I'll be fascinated to see what happens with that because I really like Brandon Williams and I like Kai Jones a lot. What else was I going to say? I mean, Dinwiddie late in the fourth quarter just kind of like took it over. He was like the last one that could have gotten to double figures. And I'm like, oh, they're really going to have 6 players with double figures. And Dinwiddie's not going to be one of those guys with, Kyrie out. And then Dinwiddie goes on his spurt there in the fourth. And, honestly, it kind of wins the game for the Mavs, even though Chicago kept on hitting threes and stuff late. And that, there in Chicago, the atmosphere seemed a lot of fun and all that stuff. But then it came down to some clutch free throws from Klay. Chicago just kind of hit like a prayer 3 at the end. Vooch did. So it's, Dallas won by 1, but really it was like a 4-point game there. And so Yeah, that's that. Mavs win. I mean, you look at the standing stuff. Sacramento lost on Friday night also, so Dallas moved up to the 9th spot. So you still have this jockeying between Dallas, Sacramento, Phoenix for how this 9, 10, 11 is going to shake out. But now that I think they're like a game and a half above Phoenix, so we'll see what happens over these final 2 weeks of the season. But I'm happy for those guys as they keep on fighting. They went 3-1 on this road trip, and we'll see what happens back at home. All right. I want to end the pod talking about Coby White because I love Coby White, and I think he should be a prime Mavericks target this coming summer.
Shut it down! Let's go home!
We back. All right. Let's do this. Let's talk about Coby White. All right. So the Mavericks have some decisions to make this offseason, right? You have Kyrie that's probably going to come back. I think it's safe to say it's a 9 to 12 month recovery. We're going to do so many pods about his recovery and different options they can have next season regarding filling that Kyrie spot in the offense and at point guard. And so if you look at that 9 to 12 mark, you're probably looking at least Christmas for Kyrie. You're probably, I would say it's probably safe to say before the All-Star break. But I'm like mentally preparing for like the Christmas first week or so of January for like a Kyrie return. Okay. So do you have enough to go to like sustain everything? If you just bring Kyrie back and let's just say you bring back a Exum or Dinwiddie, whatever, it's like, is that enough? And I think that I want them to go after Coby White so bad. Now, let me say this. I don't think Chicago should get rid of Coby White, right? Like, I think he was a lot of fun tonight. What did he finish with tonight? 20 something. I know he had 20 something. He finished with 25 points tonight. He's 50% on his threes and stuff. But I love him at his size. One, he's 25 years old. He is he's 6'5", 6'6", played at North Carolina. He is going into this final year of his contract. So he's going to make $12.8 million next year as an expiring contract. The Bulls also have Josh Giddey, who is they got to decide on if he's going to be a restricted free agent this offseason. They have next year alongside Coby White. These are the expiring contracts that they have. Kevin Huerter, Vooch, Giddey, like I said, is going to be restricted this summer. Io, and obviously Coby White. The only really long-term player they have under contract is Pat Williams, and I feel like they even dangled him in trade talks and stuff this summer or this past trade deadline. And then you have Buzelis, who's like, I think he's like a keeper for them. He should be a piece for them for the long term. So they got to decide, like, do they want to commit to the Coby White, Josh Giddey backcourt for the long term? Both in their 20s there, both fairly younger, probably entering their prime. And if I was them, I would do it, right? Like I think they should pair him up with Buzelis and figure out your big situation later on. Probably let Vooch go, maybe trade Pat Williams or whatever, and then figure out your bigs. But one, I wouldn't trade Coby White if I was them. But let's say they do. Let's say they entertain the offers. I feel like you've seen rumors and stuff about them possibly being open to trading Coby White because they go into the summer. It's like if they extend Josh Giddey with a big number, then they got to look at Coby White and be like, hey, do you play the same position or can you play the two alongside Giddey? And then how much are we willing to pay you after we just paid Josh Giddey? So if they commit to Giddey, does that mean Coby White is available? And man, go get him, Dallas. I think he would be the perfect type of guy to come in. So he makes 12.8 expiring next year. So it's not a huge number that you got to go match this summer to go get him. You do probably want to trade for him with the intention of, hey, I'm going to we want to extend you and pay you money. And his camp is probably going to be open to that with, some opportunities if the trade does happen this summer, whatever team it is, of like, hey, yeah, we would be interested in re-signing with you, or let's see how the season goes, or I don't know, we might not re-sign with you, and then that team probably doesn't trade with him. I am comfortable with paying Coby White long term. I'm comfortable with trading for him this summer. I'm comfortable with adding a draft pick to go get him. Here's the thing. I think he is a perfect Kyrie Irving fit, or like Kyrie Irving replacement's not the word, but like fill in until Kyrie gets back. But I also think he can play with Kyrie. That's the thing. It's like he has that 6'6" size to where, and he gives you that bigger presence at point guard to where I think he's a younger, better Spencer Dinwiddie. To where like Dinwiddie's that 6'5", 6'6", around the same size. A score. Dinwiddie's so crafty as a scorer, but just to add like a younger version of that and to commit to that, because even if you commit good money to that, I have no clue what the money is going to be for Coby White. I mean, obviously, if it goes over 30 million or something like that, then no, you're not in the Coby White business. But then again, it feels like every other person's getting $30 million right now in the NBA. I love his size and stuff in the backcourt, and I think he can play alongside Kyrie. And even if he doesn't like start long term, I think you can. Oh, my phone's going nuts right now. It's probably something with the storms. It's storming in Dallas. I'm afraid to turn this off. But no, sorry about that. Sorry, guys. But Coby White, I think they should go get him. I don't know what it would cost. I mean, you definitely have to give up a draft pick, but I would be honestly down for it. I would sign me up. Bring Coby White to Dallas, and then he could be that spark plug guy off the bench as your sixth man, if he's not a starter and all the stuff. So I'd love to get Coby White. You're obviously probably not getting Coby White if you go out and trade for like a Kevin Durant. That probably limits you on everything. But if they don't trade for Kevin Durant and they have all the current pieces that they have now, that's when I would go call Chicago and say, oh, you're committed to Josh Giddey? Well, we want to commit to Coby White of being a key part of our backcourt as our second or third guard behind Kyrie for the foreseeable future. There's that. Go get Coby White, Dallas. I'm all for it. Appreciate you, Klay Thompson. Bulls lose to the Mavs. There's a weekend post-game pod. I know. I missed Nick and Slightly too. I'm not Nick and Slightly. They're the best at post-game pods. Love them, but they're both busy doing other family life things right now. So you got me on a Friday night. We'll be back, guys, on Sunday night. We're dropping a pod that I think some of you guys will like. No, I think a lot of you guys will like. There's a lot of feelings and stuff attached to Tim McMahon. And but he has a great book coming out, or it already just came out. We've had it for a while. We've read it, and yeah, so we have our interview with Tim talking all Luka Doncic trade stuff, his book. And honestly, if you're a Mavs fan, if you're a true Mavs fan, I think you want to read the book because it has a lot of details and stuff about the Mavs over the past 6 or 7 years. But we have that coming out Sunday night, and then we got another game coming up the next day. So as always, we're with you, your team, every day. Look at me, such a company man. Got to use the slogan.